Hello, it's Tom here from FDS, and welcome to my Christmas message. 2016 has been a great year for the community in the UK, and I'd like to salute all the people who have run and started games this year. You've made the community much bigger, and you've made it much easier for people to get to games as a whole. So hopefully that can continue into next year, and we can see a bigger growth in the game. Whilst we're talking about Christmas messages, as you can see in my little Christmassy den of Christmas, I have a few presents around my tree, and I hope that you'll all be enjoying some foamy Christmas presents this year also. So 2016 has seen a rash of new releases in several lines, and we've actually had some new lines this year, and we've seen a release of a new Hasbro dart, which remains to be seen whether it's going to be the magic miracle dart that everybody seems to think it is. But you can expect more testing on that. We've also seen a huge growth in aftermarket parts with the release of genuinely cost-effective metal flywheel cages. We've seen the first set of true high-crush flywheels to be released, and we've also seen an awful lot of expansion in the flywheel ceiling, which has now gone up to over 170 feet per second thanks to brushless multiple flywheel setups. So we've seen an awful lot of growth in hobby Nerf this year, and hopefully our inventive, clever and interesting community can keep pushing that stuff next year. What can you expect from my channel in 2017? Well, I can promise you that the flywheel test will finally be done. I now have all the aftermarket flywheels. I've got a big shout out to Troy from Tactical Foam for helping sort the artifact ones, and I've got to say thanks to Franksy and UK Nerf War for supplying some more darts to the cause. And you can expect a proper test on those and some decent test figures. I'll continue testing some aftermarket springs, whether the manufacturers provide data or not, and I will also endeavour to investigate anything new and exciting that hits the market and keep bringing you independent test data. And obviously you can expect to see the odd bit of game footage from me as and when I film it. I don't film a lot of my games. Foam Warfare Alliance will continue it on a twice-monthly basis, and those games will generally be the second and fourth week of the month. So if you're turning up and playing those, you can keep coming to those safe in the knowledge that they're going to be regular. And I'm hoping to attend the odd Bristol Blast and a couple of the other national events as and when I get time. So you can expect some footage from across the UK. In the meantime, there are lots of good channels showcasing the best of British Nerfing, and I encourage you to go and find some of those other gameplay channels and have a look round. And there are some good mod channels too in the UK developing at the moment, so the best of luck to them in 2017. I also like to say thank you to all my subscribers who've stuck with my channel when content has been a little thin on the ground. This has been largely down to me having an actual job this year. So unfortunately I have had less time to make more stuff, and also commissions have been closed for quite some time. I think we can probably expect this to continue for 2017. So where do we see ourselves in 2017 as a community? Well, the UK is hoping to make this year the biggest year for games we have seen so far. We want to increase participation, and we've already had some expansion of several of our games, which will hopefully help this come to fruition. And we're looking for a new way to help people deliver games in their local area, to make life easier for everybody and to make things more cost effective if you're just running the odd one-off game or you want to run a regular session. So if you're making your 2017 Nerfing resolutions, what should you be putting on there? Well, I think the first thing you should remember is to obey Rule 1, which reads, don't be a dick, and that applies to the internet. It applies particularly to internet communities involving Nerf, and if you're visiting any communities of which I'm a moderator, you can expect that to be adhered to. And you can expect the ban hammer to be wielded if you feel like disobeying Rule 1, and you should always think about what you post first, even if somebody annoys you. Nobody likes someone who sits there being all butthurt. That just sucks. So if this is you, do think and then post, and if you're inclined to break Rule 1, then don't come and visit a Nerf community, go somewhere else, like Airsoft, where there's lots of people just like you. If you're thinking about modding in 2017, then remember you should mod safely and carefully, and consider what you're doing first. Don't just charge it with a screwdriver, a saw, a hammer and a pair of pliers, because it won't end prettily. And you'll end up with a broken blaster which someone else will have to fix. If you're going to games, remember, take your tags. Nobody likes a cheater, and marshals tend to shoot you. If you're organising a game, remember the 3 Fs, fast, furious and fun. You can have alternative 3 Fs, but that might not be suitable for a Nerf game. If you're advising others on how to mod or set up Nerf games, remember to consider at least safety first. It's a good axiom, and one that will keep our community safe from unwanted legislative interference. If you're building a high-powered Springer or high-powered flywheeler in the UK, remember that there is a change of law coming in January and February once the new bill is passed by the Queen, and I can confirm exclusively that flywheelers, thus far, according to the advice of some very, very clever lawyers, will not be covered by that legislation. So you will be perfectly within your legal rights to wield 150 FPS flywheelers in public spaces, should you so desire, without contravening any of the changes to the law. However, if you are a Springer user, then if you have a Springer that's over 130 feet per second, it will now be classed as a barreled air weapon. That means you cannot use it in a public space, and it will be subject to the same restrictions and rules as an air rifle. So just bear that in mind if you are building, for example, a big long shot or anything like that. You can do what you like with it on private land, just don't run around with it in the park. If you get caught, the police may test it and you may be prosecuted for breaching that new act. So don't disobey Rule 1 when it comes to using high-powered Springers. But if you're a high-powered flywheeler user, you can laugh because it's not covered by the law. Wahaha.